Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Dr. Jason Wiggins, and I hope everybody is having an exceptional, amazing day. If you haven't had a chance, please review yesterday's podcast, and it reflected around getting it done. I think it'll be highly motivational, and it will really inspire you to continue to move forward in whatever pursuit you're trying to achieve. So that was for the date of September 13th. Well, welcome to today's podcast. And, I really want to thank all the listeners because the outpouring has been amazing. I've received comments about how much the podcast is appreciated and the value that you're getting out of it. So thank you very much for that. The reason why I'm here is because I want to share a message. I want to share a message of hope, of being able to achieve the foreseeable, something that really passionate to us and we really want to be part of that. Well, this is a great opportunity to really strive and go for the gusto. This is about motivating Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, traditionalists, whoever may be listening to this podcast to be able to get value out of it. That is what will be critical moving forward. Today, I'd like to talk about never let anyone say you're not good enough. It sounds cliche, I know, but never let anyone say you're not good enough. Those are powerful words, very powerful words, because when you can think back, maybe in your childhood, or if you're still young and you're still observing what's going on, and you see bullying as cyberbullying or physical bullying or verbal bullying, it's all about bullying. It's all about people or individuals or groups that are saying, they're saying, you're not good enough. That's why I'm saying, never let anyone say you're not good enough. And how do I know this? Well, I grew up and I was always part of being picked on. I was picked on from my early years of grade school into middle school. I remember walking down the halls and people would hit my books to the ground and it was embarrassing. I had a nice girl pick up my books for me, and while I appreciated it, I was highly humiliated, but I understood that this is not the means to end all. I could not let individuals get the best of me. I could not let them say that, Jason, you're not good enough. As a group, let's think about the last time that somebody stated to you that you're not good enough. How did that make you feel? I mean, obviously, it probably didn't make you feel very good at all. And that is understandable because it's not a good feeling. It's not a way to empower somebody to be bigger, better, and bolder. It's about minimizing the standard of the person that we can be. And today I want to talk about making sure that we persevere through bullying. I've experienced it, and I've experienced it at the highest level, even in executive positions. I've experienced it. I had a former boss, names will go unmentioned, and it's safe to say he was not a good leader. Actually, let's just say he was a terrible leader. And one of the things he told me one time, he said, what this company loves about you is your optimism. But what's your kryptonite is your optimism. And I had to kind of reflect on that a little bit and think, what did they mean by that? This is a person that I consider basically the opposite of whatever MBA textbook shares about what a true change transformational leader is. And what he was trying to say is that sometimes the optimism begins to cloud your vision of what is actually achievable or true or just sometimes being realistic. Well, if I utilized that same realistic type of approach when I was a young boy, and I would have quit. I would have realized that my reality is being picked on, is being bullied. I have no room for transformation. I have no room to get better. I have no further abilities. But guess what? That's not true. It wasn't true. And that was not going to be the thing that defined me. What was going to define me? Was it my intellectual well-being? No, it wasn't. I was not the sharpest tool in the shed. What was it going to be? Was it going to be my raving personality? No, it was not going to be my raving personality because I didn't have a good one. I did not get along very well with people. They didn't seem to like me. I did have some personality traits that were dysfunctional, and that included, being somebody that seemed unattached. And when I say unattached, I like to do my own thing. And I also had a very big mouth that sometimes you put yourself in a position to say something that you shouldn't, and then you get the repercussions of such an attitude. And that was what was reflected of me, and that was the perceived me. Therefore, we cannot let the reality cloud us of what we can be, what we can achieve, what we can strive for as Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, traditionalists, alpha, whatever generation that may apply to you. Remember, the only person that can stop the transformation of success is your inner self. Your inner self is the only thing that will stop you from achieving. So if I listen to all the realities that were perceived in front of me, if I said that I'm not good enough, and I resonated that every time I ever heard that, then the only thing that I would be able to do would be quit in anything I did. Why? Because I wasn't good enough. In whatever situation that applied to me in my life, it was about the situation and how was I going to view it. As I think about this, I'd like you to also think, what situations what you can think of where somebody said, you're not good enough, or you can't do that, or that seems too far reached. You know what? Some of the greatest people in our lifetime, some millionaires, billionaires, they all heard that door slam in their face. They saw those regrets of people saying they were not interested in what they were selling. I mean, this is the life that we live. We live in a realistic world that will chew you up and spit you out if you let it. But that key thing is, will you let them tell you you're not good enough? Will you let them determine that your self-well-being is not good enough? That's why I say never, ever let anyone say you're not good enough. It takes perseverance. It takes that internal optimism. Now, if I go back to that boss, that old boss, that poor leader, and I think about what he told me about optimism and how, that's my kryptonite, but don't change. The optimism is what has impacted my life. What has made me look at each thing is not a glass half empty type of scenario, but a glass half full. How many people do you know that they are defeated before they even try something? How many people do you know they were defeated before they tried something? Maybe that was somebody close to you. Maybe that was you. But it doesn't matter, because at the end, it is about that internal resolve, that internal optimism, the ability to understand that we control what's in front of us. We have the ability to change and transform and review the important criteria of our life that allow us to push on, to move forward. No boss was ever going to tell me that optimism was my kryptonite. Well, that kryptonite got me through all of those trial times of being bullied, of being told I wasn't good enough, of getting an SAT score of 610. An SAT score of 610. That was the third lowest SAT score in my school at the time of that year that the SAT was taken. And if I would have listened to all of those pundits about how I wasn't smart enough, how I wasn't good enough, how I wouldn't achieve, I wouldn't have continued to persevere and get a bachelor's degree, continue to push forward to get an MBA. This is not about me, but I'm sharing what barriers that I had to reach to overcome. And then I was student body vice president of the school. This is the same person that couldn't get along with people, that didn't comprehend the value of being quiet. Well, it's funny because here I am speaking to you today, and I was decimated. I even had tape put on my mouth when I was younger because I didn't shut up. Well, the value of speak, the value of communication, that lends to your optimism inside. Why? Because you talk to yourself. You value your input. You value what you say. You value what you think. But don't always hold a significant value for those people that don't believe in you. If they don't believe in you, they don't believe in your optimism, they don't believe in your success, they don't want to be part of your success, they don't want to help you get to the next level. That's the optimism that you need. That's the optimism that you desire. That is the optimism that will push you further, farther than you ever thought possible. So as a Gen Z and a millennial, if you're a leader or you're aspiring to transform, you're aspiring to be something better, I want you to take the power of this message and my previous podcast, and I want you to reflect on that. Getting it done, being positive, being optimistic, understanding that failure is not a bad thing. These are all elements that I spoke of in my last two podcasts, along with today's, that we don't want to let anybody say you're not good enough. We are good enough. We have value. Everyone has value. If you're sitting there in the kitchen right now, you're standing up and you're looking out and you're your disarray. What are you going to do next? You were recently laid off on your job, or you're not sure what path you want to take, or if you're sitting in your car and you're thinking about, what am I going to do next? Just remember the one thing. Never let anyone say you're not good enough. We all have value. We all have expertise. We all have personal experiences that we can share that will not only improve our own life, but the lives of others. We have the opportunity to deliver a message that the only success that is hindered is the success that we let be hindered. So that's why today, if you take one thing out of this podcast, I would like you to think about being optimistic. Be a glass half full person. When times are tough, when times are hitting you in the head and nothing's going right, that optimism, that inner self-worth will always go over and beyond of the bad feeling that you may have. Life is tough. We know that. We only have one life to live on this earth, and that's why we have to make the best of it. So please, I ask you to always be optimistic. I don't care if it's your kryptonite. I don't care if it clouds your vision. You know, the reality is the vision that we have is the vision of ourselves, the vision of prosperity, the vision of being something that we can only envision to be bigger and better in our family life, our work life, our spiritual life, whatever it may be that makes you excited to get up in the morning. I want to make sure that you share this podcast if you would like it, subscribe to it. So when I do different podcasts, you're able to get those right away. And if you'd like to reach out to me and say, I agree, I disagree, or you have content that you would like me to talk about, please email me at jason.wigginsprofessional@gmail.com. Ultimately, I'm here for you. I don't get paid for this. I don't do this for any monetary value. I mean, if one day I'm getting thousands of subscribers, then excellent. But right now, that's not my purpose. That's not my focus. It's if I help one person achieve just an ounce of success or understanding their self-worth, or it motivates you to be bigger and better in one thing, then that is what inspires me to continue to do these podcasts. So thank you very much. And again, my name is Dr. Jason Wiggins, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.